Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Monday's edition of the MUFC Daily. Manchester United 1, Crystal Palace 0. It's fascinating, astounding and shocking. My final line at the end of yesterday's MUFC Daily is, if he chooses the same team as Thursday, then someone in the background is doing something, and that was worrying. I was very worried when that team was announced, but then I found myself being impressed. How does the team that Carrick picked against Arsenal on Thursday play negative, dire, anti-Manchester United, anti-football, and then Ralph puts out exactly the same team and they play expansive, brilliant football, high-press football for about 45 minutes to 50 minutes. These players invested all their energy, ability and skill. They were dominating the game. They controlled the game. This is literally with no training sessions, no time for Ralph to implement what he wanted. But what Ralph believes in, it's not just the physical training on the field that's important. Even more important is talking to the players and getting into their heads psychologically. And he certainly did that. Now, they got tired in the second half. Now, this is understandable. These players only played 3 days ago. Now, that's a kind of risky thing to do, isn't it? To play the same players who played 3 days ago, but he did it. He said he wanted to reward them for their performance against Arsenal. And thinking about it now, I was wrong. I mean, you can't just disperse of the services of players who have performed well for you and won. So what I think he wants to say is, I will reward a great performance, but I will punish bad performances if you don't listen to me, if you don't do what I'm telling you to do. Because he talks about convincing the players that what he wants them to do is a good thing and it's for the benefit of them and the club and of course us, the supporters. And yesterday we saw that. Now in the first half we were really attacking well. We had a few opportunities, but ultimately, I mean, you look at Fred's goal. Well done, Fred. I mean, Fred's like on a purple patch now, but what a goal. That was a goal made in fucking Brazil, wasn't it? Brilliant goal. But ultimately, the problem with our midfield is it's very steely, and I think that's why Ralph, chose McFred. And I think, isn't it amazing? Me and so many people who were saying McFred shouldn't be playing during the Ollie era are now saying, wow, what's happened to these guys? Well, McTominay, there is an issue around McTominay. I've said it before. When McTominay plays in a more forward role in midfield and allows Fred to sit, that's how that system works better. But when they're both asked to be defensive midfielders, it can be a problem. Now, it's very interesting again. Ralph said, I love the performance of McTominay and Fred, but there was once that they each did square passes. He says, I don't like square passes. I want them to go forward. Interesting. So just once. And he didn't like it. That tells you everything you need to know about Ralph Rangnick. So just sensational kind of after-match thoughts from Ralph as well. But you've got to look at these German managers. And I don't want to stereotype people because they're German, but I am going to stereotype them. Look at the guy at Chelsea, look at Klopp, and look at Ralph Rangnick. They're amazing people. And I mean, they look at the psychological situation, they look at the physical situation. And if he can do this after no training sessions on players who clearly played 3 days earlier and got tired but were able to see the performance home, that tells you a lot. Now, we've got young boys midweek in the Champions League. I think it's the final group game. The game doesn't really matter. Well, of course, all games matter for Manchester United, but it doesn't matter. We're through. So he could play a very kind of young team if he wanted to. He'd probably do that. I don't know. He will need to rest the players he played on Sunday because they also played on Thursday. He can't play them again. Even, I mean, at the moment, we're all kind of, Ralph, do what you want, but I think that would be suicidal, wouldn't it? And I don't think he'll do that anyway. Ralph knows what he's doing. So I think he will blood some youngsters and players like people like VDB. I mean, my heart sank when VDB wasn't playing, and I'm thinking, poor VDB is going to go through the same thing again. I think it's because mainly that Ralph saw a situation and an issue with Palace going for our midfield and he didn't want to risk it. That's why he played two defensive steely midfielders in Fred and McTominay. And ultimately, that choice worked. But this is just the beginning of the revolution. As I've already said, if he can get that performance out of them, right, to see a result home, to dominate, to control, which are words that Ralph uses a hell of a lot. He wants to control games. And control is important. He doesn't like coincidences. Who does? Coincidences are unpredictable. Coincidences mean you could leak a goal. Very important clean sheet as well. You've got David De Gea playing as a kind of sweeper. I think did he make one save or something? So it's a different way of playing. And sometimes I think the players will make mistakes from this new system. Was it 4-4-2? What was it? I don't even know what it was. I don't even, look, I'm not going to pretend I know about systems and stuff anyway. But it was what was it? Was it 4-4-2? Was it 4? I don't even fucking know. Someone comment down below, because I can't remember and I'm making a twat of myself, because I really don't get football formations. I love United, that's it, right? I like football, but I love United. That's why I'm interested in football, because of Manchester United. So, you know, I don't know about formations, but please comment down below and let me know what the formation was. Hey, at least I'm honest. At least I don't pretend I know everything about football, that I'm some biblical scripture about all the techniques of football. I don't know shit. I know they kick a ball, right, and they have to score goals. That's all I really need. That's all I need to know, right? Anyway, so yeah, a brilliant performance by the team. Palace Palace were dangerous near the end because we were getting tired. And as I say, when you're playing a team when you're playing players that played 3 days ago, that's going to happen. And so, but these are really good signs, everyone, because we really need to go on an unbeaten run here. And you look at the teams we're playing in the Premier League, I think it's very, very exciting, because these are teams we should beat. And I mean, you know, people say, well, you can't win all the games, but why not? Why not? Chelsea, City and Liverpool win every week. I know Chelsea lost against West Ham, but mostly all the big clubs have lost to West Ham this season so far anyway. So it's not really anything to worry about. And doesn't mean Chelsea are finished. Chelsea can still win the league. Right? It's ridiculous people saying it's just City and Liverpool now. No, Chelsea are still in there. Don't be so gullible and naive. Don't be so reactive after one result. People in football do this a lot, especially supporters. They react after one result. Don't do that. It's about consistency or inconsistency. And Chelsea have been very consistent thus far, although they do seem the weaker ones out of the two, in my opinion. But anything can happen. Won the Champions League last year. I mean, look, the problem with the manager at Chelsea, he kind of won the European Cup, so there's added pressure for him to win the league. You know, managing Chelsea is like managing Barcelona or Real Madrid. They don't have their history, but the pressure is to be successful straight away, or you're gone. Look what happened to Frankie Lampard. Simply not good enough. He was removed. It's ruthless. It's the kind of ruthlessness I'd like to see at Manchester United, but we are a differently run club. And that's understandable with our legacy and history. You can't just keep on binning people. You've got to have some respect there. So I do understand that. But Ralph Rangnick is the man. He is the godfather. He's the right person for this job. And I don't expect him to relinquish the power he has right now. I expect him to remain as manager for the next 2 or 3 or even 4 seasons. I think good things are happening for Manchester United. We shouldn't get carried away by this performance and this result. Anything can happen, but I think if the players listen to him, then I think we're on a great course. I think we will buy a couple of players. I would like to see a defensive midfielder, something we desperately needed in the summer and Ollie didn't deal with. And, you know, it would be sad to replace Fred and McTominay, but in an ideal world, you'd want a creative midfielder and a defensive midfielder. But in a perfect world, and I don't know if there's such players anymore, you would want a Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane, players who can defend and attack equally astutely. That's what I would look to do. If there's an all-round midfielder out there, buy him in January. You may have to wait till the summer, but I think like all players, you can train players into a different cultural mindset. And the mindset with Ollie was that, the way with McFred that they were playing, and it didn't work out for them because he wasn't playing them to their strengths. Ollie wasn't playing any players to their strengths. But, interestingly enough, Ralph says it's very important to play players to their strengths. That isn't rocket science. You don't have to be a professor of football to actually get that. This has been the MUFC Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again tomorrow for more MUFC Daily. Until then, goodbye.